heroes, it is time for the semifinals of the dance-off race to the crown tournament. And oh boy, do we have a match for you today. We have Mr. Cody Newberry taking on the Black Lantern Brooklyn Vail in what is sure to be a knockout, drag-out brawl. But I'm not alone. I am joined by two lovely guest hosts, and that would be Mr. Malcolm Goldie Lay.
Yeah, I'm ready for a interesting battle. There's definitely a lot of bad blood between them, and I'm going to pose an extra rule: no muting your opponent.
And Caleb, either the kid, maybe he's the kid, maybe he's the king. No one really knows. But Caleb Coho, you're here too, so you can talk for a second. No filibuster.
Funny. This is gonna be the most entertaining match I've seen all week. And keep in mind, I've recorded like 10 videos over the last 4 days, so this is the thing I'm most looking forward to.
I think everyone's been looking forward to this. I think that includes our competitors. So speaking of our competitors, Caleb, would you like to take care of the pre-match interviews?
Absolutely, and I'll start with the Jukebox hero himself, the Black Lantern Brooklyn Vail. How do you feel about getting into the debate ring once again and against probably your biggest enemy ever?
I am nervous. I haven't been this nervous since my wedding day. Cody is like that big brother that I never had, where he's just constantly like in late night has like one up to me and somehow and I just want to. This is my match to win. I think that there are questions that are favored in my direction, and you know what? This is more than just speed, like more than speed round. Like we've took time to prepare, and I think it's my music knowledge and how I present that knowledge is what's going to get me this victory. But let's be honest here, Cody's probably just going to destroy me with the this.
I think it's kind of it's close to nervous since your wedding day and it's an online trivia day. That's kind of cool. But yeah, no. Honestly, congratulations. I'm in post match even. But good luck to you tonight. I'm very excited to get in the ring, and I hope you have fun and just kind of take care of those. And of course, the new hope, Cody Newberry. The guy that whenever debates in the ring, he's somehow always attached. Cody, how do you feel about getting in the ring with Brooklyn tonight?
It's going to be interesting. This is my area of debate. It may not be the category or the type that I would pick, but the difference is between Brooklyn and his wedding night and tonight, he's not going to get lucky tonight. He's going to get knocked out tonight. And I'm going to make him go back to hosting, which he actually is pretty good at for most part. He can't pronounce things correctly, which could cause a problem. But if I make him puke on screen, that would be even better. So tonight, I project a 3-0 win, maybe 3-1. I'm okay with that, but I don't think we're going to speed round. But if we do, Brooklyn already knows that he does not want to go to speed round against me because he already knows he can't beat me in that round. So let's hope he prepped really well to win.
I would not expect any less than the barbs thrown from the master of the promo. So yeah, very excited to see you two play. Have a good match.
All right. Thank you so much for those lovely interviews. This means that it is time. Let's dance! All right, Cody, because you are the favorite, you get to select which two questions you would like to go first on.
I'm going to go first on 2 and number 3.
All right, questions number 2 and 3. And Brooklyn, because you are the underdog, you get to decide what question we start on.
Let's start with question number 1.
All right, so we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds good to me. All right. So question number 1 was, What is the best rock album of the 2000s? So Luke asked me to specify. 2000s means 00 to 09. And all right, you get a minute opener, and that means Brooklyn, you'll be going first because Cody has to go first on 2 and 3. So your time starts whenever you start talking. Is Brooklyn here?
This will be an easy KO.
Laptop crashed.
What a terrible time.
I just want to say the face that is on my screen for Brooklyn right now is hilarious.
All right, well, he said he'll be back in a few. Love when that happens.
Sweet. Now, wouldn't it be great to have someone who's really good at filibustering? Oh, wait.
This is when Matt cashes in the money in the bank, and I declare that I'm entering myself into this match as well so that I can face myself with the snowball.
You wouldn't walk.
And I would do that.
Plot
I
twist.
would still argue the same
Brooklyn just DM'd me. This is a second chance match for me. I'll be facing Cody tonight.
No, you don't want that.
Although
Cody versus Caleb would be Caleb screaming while Cody just quietly plays Papa Bear and tries to shut him up.
Well, that's the interesting thing. I've already said
that's
it before.
Not
like
how it works.
Caleb threw Matthew Rosa off his game when he debated in music, and Caleb started me off my debate in a movie debate. So he has that ability. He is literally the person that can piss you off the most and totally
Throwing
change
me
your
off in
gameplay.
music, yeah, I'm still impressed that he managed. Because that takes some serious work.
I was blown away.
I don't lose.
I almost won.
Somebody sucks.
I almost won arguing an opinion that I completely disagree with. That Paramore's titled album changed like the face of rock.
Yeah, that was absurd.
I was really Brooklyn literally. I was literally when Brooklyn didn't start saying anything. I was like, man, he is really thinking about what opening to say. Uh-oh. I hit jump. Come on.
Yeah, I see. I hit jump. He hit jump, but he died. So it's always.
It's I thought Brooklyn was taking the Ben Bateman approach to debating.
Can somebody start the 5-minute timer because we're almost into the middle, and you'll just have to go off what I'm saying.
All right. So for the first point, I'm going to give it to Cody, mostly because he's the only one that talked. It's Adam. It's Adam versus Caleb, part 2.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I just didn't listen to the song, so
I picked the wrong. I picked the wrong song. I'm sorry. He's right.
I mean,
that he was right.
Caleb, did you win 3-0?
I beat the Chronic with Free at Last.
He did.
3-0.
Yeah, that was a KO.
I 3-0'd him.
So there was no.
And I beat Dr. Dre with DC Talk,
which was absurd.
That's what happens when you're playing someone who has no idea what they're doing, like when they face you. Like, I'm sure he's like fine at debating. It's just he had no idea what kind of beast he was playing in his first match.
Don't ever call yourself a beast again.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
I'm not saying I'm a beast in the terms of like great at debating. In terms of like, I'm just a monster when it comes to yelling at you.
I'm just glad
I'll give you that.
Blame.
So, Caleb, if you read on Rankin last night,
he is rooting for Brooklyn. Well, Jonathan, that's
hey,
why
Jonathan.
you're not on the Grinch watch along. Okay.
Matt, Malcolm, what were you saying?
Caleb, Matthew, you guys went on the Christmas movie Rankin last night. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
My personal favorite is Jingle All the Way.
I love that movie.
Love that movie. It's set in Minneapolis. I'm like contractually obligated to love this movie.
Put down the doll.
But I also really like Elf.
Sinbad is in that movie. Sinbad.
I love
The
Jingle All the
Year
Way, and I
Without a
love Elf.
Santa Claus.
Those
Those
are
are my
like
favorite Christmas movie.
I like Year Without a Santa Claus. That's in my top 10.
Guys,
I'm Mr.
I know
Peak
everybody else has competed in Jukebox and has won and done great things. But how many people have scared their computer into debating and made it crash? Brooklyn and that computer are literally in the corner shaking right now.
I like Cameron Holtzman just gave a pretty interesting opinion that they're going to see as soon as we get into this debate.
That's a terrible argument.
They said, in my personal opinion, the best rock album of the 2000s is The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. Well, you will have your voice heard.
I like that album quite a bit.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's my third favorite MCR album.
I would say one of my personal favorites is Awake by Skillet. That's another good one from the 2000s that I think is pretty good.
It's great on the first half, but it's got a pretty weak back half.
Yeah, it's right on the end. Comatose is also really good if you want to go for the more popular choice.
So while we're waiting for Brooklyn to come back, if you have any questions for us in the chat, now's the time to ask.
Yeah.
Can you get a new host instead of Brooklyn? It's being discussed behind the curtains of Take Food right now.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be as of like next week. Matthew Rose will be the new commissioner of Jukebox Trivia, and we just won't ever mention Brooklyn's name again. We're gonna pull a John Campea on him. he's just gone.
Cameron, I completely agree that Skillet is classic, but their stuff has gone downhill. That last album they did, not great.
Oh, is that like the Scream one with the guy screaming on the cover?
Yeah, that the one with like that Feel Invincible. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever.
All right, so I looked up like what are some of the best albums of the 2000s. Yeah, I probably would have gone Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, Wilco, 2002. But I would have been debating an album that no one else heard, which I always like to do.
You had done what?
I would have debated Yankee Hotel Foxtrot by Wilco. That was the album that like got fake leaked, but then turned out they leaked it.
Well, you know what? When me and you face next round, well, let's hope I win. Okay.
Oracular Spectacular by MGMT. That's a 2000s album. Now I'm just reading 2000s albums.
If we were doing 2010s, I really liked. It was actually from this year, Brother Mystery.
The La La Land soundtrack.
One of my favorite albums of the year.
Oh,
the La La Land soundtrack is actually probably one of the best albums of the 2010s.
Can you stop?
I agree.
It's true.
Oh my
god,
gosh.
It's a good album.
I agree as well.
I'm sorry, Cody. Another Day in the Sun.
La La Land's good, man. La La Land's good.
I don't live in California, but that whole movie was just like, look at California and how much we're in love with it. Oh, gross. That movie's boring as hell, and they're
when
not.
Scott Metz came out on the Patreon movie release dates match, I was bopping because Another Day in the Sun was his theme. I was rooting for him to win just so that I could hear that.
That was his
again.
theme for Sebs too, and for his son. That's been his theme for a while.
Like I love musicals, and that movie made me hate it.
Really? You disliked La La Land that much?
Oh, it was
Danger Days is his Cameron Holtzman. Danger Days is his favorite My Chemical Romance album.
That's the worst album by far. That's
the album that like made the merger, bro.
That's not only just a bad MCR album, but a bad rock album in general. That album is
Danger Days was the album where I was like, oh, all right.
Bob quit because they wanted to release that album. Just to give you an idea of how bad of a garbage pile that thing was. Bob quit over it. He was like, no, Conventional Weapons needs to come out first because they had recorded it
I
first.
almost quit listening to music after listening to My Chemical Romance.
Well, you're wrong.
I've listened.
But
I've listened to a ton of them in the past, and I've listened to Black Parade a lot.
I think Black Parade has some awesome tracks.
I like the Black Parade.
I think the self-titled track is like
I
the
will explain
titular
it in
track
my
is not one of
argument.
the best ones.
We should stop talking about this because you're wasting my points.
The graphic novel is
Okay,
fantastic. I'll give you that.
I bet it is.
Graphic novel is
I'm
really,
proud.
really good.
I'm proud of it.
Great.
I don't care.
Yeah, Gerard Way's gotten to do some stuff with Marvel now, which is cool.
Oh my gosh, Brooklyn, we
Doom
are
Patrol.
live.
That Doom Patrol comic is good. That Doom Patrol album? Or album. Comic. What am I saying?
His two new songs are both really good. Baby You're a Haunted House and Germs. Both real good. He's doing an initiative where he's
I
releasing
get
a
it,
new
you were
song
nervous, but come
for the
on,
next
man.
12 months.
Watch his Microsoft computer have to do an update before it comes back to life.
Oh god.
It's gonna be Dance Off After Dark. Welcome to the Matt, Malcolm,
Jonathan Peck,
Caleb, and
Eminem,
Cody Music
Mark
Podcast.
What?
Where we
So
try not to base point for the debate.
Yeah, we just talk about 4.8 for
here's a
6
fun
hours.
topic. Here's a fun topic. Brooklyn for later.
I deeply apologize for that. My laptop decided to rage quit. So yeah.
Okay, Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix came out in 2009, so that would have been my pick. All right, just so in case anyone was wondering.
No one cares, Matt. All right,
Brooklyn, your
now
time starts when you start talking.
And we're
Okay,
halfway
you have
to
1
the
minute.
second point.
All right, cool. So we're starting at question number 1.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, come all to this tragic affair. 2006's The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance is the greatest album of the 2000s because of the message that it provides and how it has resonated throughout time and the emotional roller coaster that this takes you on. Hits like The End, Dead, Welcome to the Black Parade, I Don't Love You, Cancer provide such different tones of how you can go about the pop punk route and different messages that you can tell with having the general blanket of having a mental health and a bullying overtone. My opponent today is going to be arguing about American Idiots and the great times of 2004. He'll be relying on the dated terms of George W. Bush and the boring drumming of Trey Cool and the non-impressive vocals of Billy Joel Armstrong.
Way to give my entire point, what we're arguing. That's what's the middle's for, dumbass. Okay.
Right.
Pulled a late night with Take 3 and left 5 seconds on the board. All right, Cody, you kind of just got screwed because I don't think that's a thing you can do, but it's okay. Your time will start
Yeah,
when you start
no
talking.
one has ever revealed the other person's right before it happened, but that's cool. Yeah, your own show, don't know how it works. Cool. So I'm arguing American Idiot, 2004. And this message, why I think it is one of the best of the 2000s, because it transcends the 2000s. A moment happened where a bunch of kids shouldn't have been told or give their view on politics and how they thought, and they came out with a groundbreaking album of American Idiot. The songs on it, again, we can list discography all day long and have great points of all that. But the main problem is you picked Black Parade, and that's a good one. But the Black Parade is one of the most, if we picked best songs from an album, you might have this. But that is it. That song is one of the stronger ones of that album, but everything else falls in comparison. Holiday, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, American Idiot, those songs have went way past it and still tell a dark time in American and the world's history of what was going on post 9/11.
Time. Perfect. All right. You have 5 minutes. No filibustering. And remember the Jessica Morgan rule. I will only say time twice. All right. You'll get 1 filibuster warning. If I catch you filibustering again, you lose the point. Cool? Cool. You can begin.
Okay, so basically, My Chemical Romance and Black Parade. Guess what? They have the same beats throughout their entire discography. That's what they do. They're emotional guys. They sing great songs about that emotional, but it does not transcend over multiple genres. It does not help people to get into that band. Their Black Parade music video and song are fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but the rest of the songs come off whiny, complaining, not great, and there's not that memorable albums. American Idiot took an album that literally should have not been that great in such a divided time and has transcended past its point. They've even made a musical about this album, which is insane that it can go into a show tune genre and still carry the exact same message that it did that day and have a reflection of the hard time post 9/11 that these kids should not have been writing about. My Chemical Romance are eyeliner and they're complaining and they're whining about stuff. That's what that entire genre was back then.
Yes, because whenever you hear, oh yeah, nobody cares that you're dead, that's super whiny. This album is about being bullied, and this is about overcoming the obstacles placed in front of you. American Idiot decides to for some reason take 13 tracks and compress them into 9. Why the fuck are you doing this? You are making the album super long, and as a listener, I am frustrated when I try to go through the album and I can't manage it at all. But let's break through the album, shall we? American Idiot. It is a song about rebelling against the system and how we don't want to be we part of this redneck agenda. Sorry. Another Brick in the Wall and Sound of Silence did that much better. Jesus of Suburbia, you need subtitles for most of that song, and it rips off Ring of Fire.
Okay,
Holiday
I'm
/ Boulevard of Brooklyn.
Break down the exact discography. Anybody can look at it, but my basic thing is tell me from 2000 on that any of those songs besides Black Parade has transcended beyond that point. Absolutely not. They've literally come out with
famous last words is one of the anthems of emo punk. Cancer is one of the most.
Wake Me Up When September Ends, Holiday, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Jesus of Suburbia, a 9-minute song that is fantastic and tells a story beautifully in that song. Literally,
because Jesus of Suburbia is literally just 9 1-minute segments compressed together.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't matter how the song was written. It actually works out perfectly for it. My main problem with your guys' band is they don't transcend. Millions of other bands were doing the exact same thing that your band was doing in those songs, constantly complaining, whining, talking about bullying, being emotional, because that was the emo thing to do back then. But it does not live up to today, because now that we live in a generation that tells you to stand up for politics, and American Idiot did that way before anybody else started standing up for politics when it mattered.
Yeah, one song. American Idiot.
Holiday has literally bullet points of politics in it too. That's the whole viewpoint of it. That's why they transcended into a musical, because it stands up for something that people need to realize, that if you want to make a difference, you need to say something and you need to change stuff. My Chemical Romance did the same thing like other emo bands do. Sit there, whine, complain, talk about bullying, talk about stuff like that. But guess what? That's been done, and it doesn't go anywhere past that point anymore.
But it hasn't been done. Anymore. It has not been done as great as My Chemical Romance. If you try to compare each individual aspect of the band, it's apples and oranges. Gerard Way is exponentially the better vocalist as opposed to Billy Joel Armstrong. There's a band here that covers both Green Day and My Chemical Romance. I have never seen I've never seen the vocalist struggle with any of Billy Joel's work. I have seen him struggle countless times with Gerard Way's work, because Gerard Way actually sings.
Okay,
he has an extended range.
Guess what? If we were arguing the vocals or band type, that's different. But we are talking about concept.
Because My Chemical Romance is the better band. It's very easy to have this minimum range.
Band all you want. Black Parade is the one standout in that album. The rest do not hold a candle to it. American Idiot, Holiday, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Jesus of Suburbia, Wake Me Up When September Ends, all are rememberable and still can be played today. Black Parade is the only one from that album, and I guarantee it.
Famous last words, I Don't Love You is I Don't Love You is one of the best breakup songs of the 2000s. Famous last words is that anthem. We're debating the best album of 2000, sir. And once again, the Black Parade.
Time. All right. You get, is it 45 seconds for closers or a minute?
Yeah.
What is it, 45?
45.
Okay. So, Brooklyn, you went first the first time. So, Cody, you go first on your closer. Time starts when you start talking.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, which there's no ladies, but anybody watching, my basic viewpoint of this thing is this album was a concept album that should not have worked in that time frame, especially when everybody that stood up against President Bush or anybody like that, it did not mesh. But the whole thing is this album has transcended the times, went on to a different genre, and still holds strong to what it stood for, and telling kids that guess what? If you want to make a change, you need to stand up and say something different. The songs are more played now than they have been before, and the problem with My Chemical Romance, the best song on that is Black Parade, but the rest do not get played that often. They are not lived up to it, and they do not have the same power or punch that Black Parade does in that album.
Left time on the board. I respect it. All right. Brooklyn, 45 seconds. Your time starts when you start talking.
Well, my opponent defends a dated album regarding the term of one presidency. What is one of the biggest issues regarding society, and more importantly, men's society today, is mental health and how they address it. This album shows that it is okay to express those problems that you have. And in the song Famous Last Words, they literally scream, "I'm not okay," which is essentially the theme of what it is today. It's okay to say that you are not okay. My opponent once again harnesses on the Black Parade as being the only good song, whereas "I Don't Love You" is one of the countless breakup songs I've ever. Cancer tugs in your heartstrings exponentially, and Famous Last Words is once again the anthem for crying out for mental illness.
Cool. All right. I am going to go to Caleb first because I don't want to have to make up my mind first.
Ouch. Thanks, Matt. Throw me under the bus. I do want to give a really quick shout out to Cameron Holtzman for Panic at the Disco, despite both their 2000s albums being not very good. But
Pretty odd would be the choice, actually, so that's fine.
Actually, I mean, it's the better of the two. Anyway, that's later. I'm going to lean towards Brooklyn because Cody kept hitting on the same like 2 or 3 topics, but I think Brooklyn defended those 2 or 3 hits pretty well. When Cody brought up that they only have one good song, Cody's closing really sold me, or Brooklyn's closing really sold me on why Cody's attack of "Welcome to the Black Parade" is the only good song. Not being correct by explaining how "Cancer" is a good song, and his numerous examples. I'm gonna go.
See, I'm going to go ahead and interject just to make things interesting for Mr. Malcolm Goldie-Lay, because I am giving the point to Cody because of the argument that he was making that we're not arguing best band. We're not arguing best discography, blah, 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 blah. He just kept reminding them we were arguing the albums. And I feel like Cody was talking more about his album than Brooklyn was. Brooklyn went off on a little tangent where he started talking about Gerard Way's vocals, which, yes, you are correct. Gerard Way's the better vocalist. That means the sky is blue and the grass is green. But at the end of the day, Cody was talking about like why his music mattered in the time period it was in, and he kept responding that like your music was emo trite. And the problem was you didn't really defend why like it was emo trite. You were just like, yeah, it's talking about this, but here's the problem with your thing, it's dated. And I was like, yeah, I mean that's fair, but throwing an argument at him doesn't really respond to the argument he had made towards you. So I'm giving it a point to Cody. So Malcolm, you get to call it.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those arguments which was really interesting. And I mean, I think for most of the same points that Matthew brought up, like Brooklyn did sort of go on the tangent talking about the band at one stage, but I mean, there was one point where and I mean the whole dated argument. I was really hoping Cody would have countered that by going, well, you can take that and attribute it to Trump now, but I mean, but despite that missed counter, I still think Cody gets the points. So.
All right, so the first point goes to Mr. Cody Newberry. He is one step to his foretold 3-0. We'll see if that actually happens. I, for some reason, doubt it. But that means we move on to question number 2. What musician who started in a band had the best solo career after? So, Cody, you get to go first. You have 1 minute. Your time begins when you start talking.
So I will be respectful and not reveal who Brooklyn is picking, but I picked the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson started with the Jackson 5 and transcended to literally iconic status. His discography, which I guess Brooklyn, I guess that's a point that we need to bring up, like how many songs, but like just alone, Thriller, Billie Jean, Man in the Mirror, these songs were literally iconic and still get played today. He is literally referred to as one of the greatest song performance of all time. So I'm arguing for Michael Jackson.
Oh, wow. Left 30 seconds on the board. Doesn't need it. All right.
It's
Brooklyn.
debate. We're going to be debating. I don't need to describe what I'm talking about.
Okay. Your time starts whenever you start talking.
While my opponent relies on a performer and solely a performer, I am picking the better musician and the better musical mind. That is one Andre Young, a.k.a. Dr. Dre, starting out in NWA and then going on to be the greatest mind in hip-hop entertainment. The hooks and the backbeats that man is responsible for, and the talent that he has really garnered and really had under his wing. You have your Snoop Dogg's, your Eminem's, and your Kendrick Lamar. He has also put out great albums. 2001 and Compton are considered two of the best albums, not only 2000s rap, but just rap in general. His flow is organic, and his combination of musical talent and just overall stage presence will win this argument over just a good performer.
Okay, left 15 seconds on the board. You guys just don't like taking your time. All right, that's cool though. You have 5 minutes. You may begin.
All right, Mr. Newberry. So here's why Michael Jackson is the worst of the two. When you look at whenever he passed away and what went afterwards, people weren't looking for new music. They weren't looking for new things. They were looking for new shows. They wanted to see the man, which means that he is meant as a dancer and as an entertainer, not as a musician and not as somebody who is more for the music. When you look at Thriller and Bad, two of his best albums, you really have to thank Quincy Jones for that. One of the greatest musical minds ever. For songs like Thriller, like songs like Billie Jean, you could apply those songs to any other artist, and they would have done just as well. Michael Jackson is essentially just the entertainer and the dancer.
Okay, that was real cute. That was real interesting, but now it's time to end you. The correct answer was, the question was best solo career afterwards. You literally mentioned 3 artists that he helped. That's not the question. It's talking about him solo. If you look him up as top songs, he is literally more credited for songs with Snoop Dogg, Tupac, Kendrick Lamar, but him as a self is absolutely not. And to talk about his own music, to transcend what he did on his solo albums, incorrect. Because NWA has way better music. Even the NWA biopic and documentary that they talk about, Eazy-E was the front man talking to the manager. Ice Cube was literally the main guy behind writing all those lyrics. And guess what? He just mixed the tracks and put it on there. That's not what we're arguing, is who can do the best overall. I'm talking best solo career. And by far, Michael Jackson stole the show. You can credit whoever you want on those minds.
What has Michael Jackson done again business-wise? Tell me again. What sort of companies has he done? How much is Michael Jackson worth right now? Dr. Dre is worth $700 million right now. Created one of the best electronic headphones ever. And beat Dr. Dre. The question is, what is the best solo career? And Dr. Dre Dr. Dre has excelled. Did Michael Jackson create a record company? No, then shut the fuck up. Dr. Dre created Aftermath and Interscope Records.
You literally argued the wrong point here, because guess what? We're talking about music. This is music, and guess what? Dre does not have it on the cake. He is literally solo. He's literally featured or with somebody almost every song he's ever put out by himself. Michael Jackson rarely shares the stage because he doesn't need to. His music transcends from ballads to Thriller to upbeat to Smooth Criminal. The dude is iconic and way better than the Jackson 5.
And what is the more memorable? What is the more memorable of the two between the music and the videos? It is definitely the videos. When you try to listen to Thriller in a non-Halloween, you can't listen to it. The man is an entertainer and an entertainer only.
Weddings, it happens at parties, it happens everywhere. You can listen to Thriller whenever you want. You can listen to Michael Jackson's music more. His literally music transcends multiple generations. Yours is literally featured to a niche argument, and it's not so
to a niche because rap is such a niche genre. Look at the 90s to 2000s to 2010s. Who is the person who was in every fucking decade of that? Shut the fuck up, Cody, and let me goddamn argue my debate. So first of all, Dr. Dre, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 90s, you look at the NWA and look at Snoop Dogg. In the 2000s, you look at 2001, one of the greatest rap albums ever.
Solo.
And you need beats for those songs, and it's very easy to put forward a generic, straightforward beat. Dr. Dre is the man. He is responsible for so many rappers in the scene today, of the 2000s, of the 90s. He is a musical genius. Yes, he is a coach. He is a mentor. He has had a great solo career because he's able to thrive. He's not. It's very easy. It's very easy to sing someone else's music, but when you create music for others to thrive off of, that is a better solo career in my humble opinion. It's very easy to go out there and dance and say Billie Jean.
If we argued for the simple fact of who has the biggest stamp on the music industry, congratulations, Dr. Dre, you win this award. But guess what? We're talking solo career after they left the band. NWA was way better than Dr. Dre's any solo album, so he does not stand up on his own. He didn't even write his own. Ice Cube's best song wrote those songs. And they even depict him just sitting in the booth, moving his little stuff, creating those beats, because that's great what he does. But guess what? That's not solo album. The basic of the solo album is he literally has to be featured with half people. So
did Michael Jackson make all of his own music?
Michael Jackson is literally the solo. It doesn't matter if he wrote it. It doesn't matter if he plays it. It doesn't matter if he dances. It's literally just him. It's just him. It doesn't matter. A lot of great artists, you don't have to write your music.
All right. You get your 45-second closers, Brooklyn. You got to go second the first time, so you go first this time. Time starts when you start talking.
Well, my opponent is once again stuck on a person who was just handed them music and lyrics, and for him to just entertain and perform, and in a great way. Michael Jackson, one of the greatest dancers ever, one of the greatest entertainers, and he has great songs. But you need the music background, and you need that music mind that is Dr. Dre. When you look at almost like 30 years of work, Dr. Dre is the man of rap. Also, before that, we also have one of the biggest falls from grace of Michael Jackson having multiple child accusations. So while that success is great, it comes at a minor cost.
That if you win cheaply, that's fine with me. That's fine with me.
All right, Cody, your 45 seconds start whenever you start talking.
Gentlemen, the question was musician that had the best solo career after being in a band. Michael Jackson started with the Jackson 5. He came out and killed with album after album with Thriller, Beat It, Smooth Criminal, Man in the Mirror, We Are the World, with a bunch of different albums. That's probably the only time he ever shared the stage with anybody. Dr. Dre is featured with every other artist, and he's a great mentor, and he creates great headphones, which are really not that great if you like musical taste. That's not the argument we're raising. He had a solo career. It doesn't matter if he wrote his own music. It doesn't matter if he's gifted songs. He still had to perform them. He still had to show out, and he did it night after night. Beats is just behind the scenes. It doesn't count.
Time. All right. So, Malcolm, you got to be the decider last time, so this time you get to go first.
Thanks for that, Matthew. This was definitely a really heated debate. I've been brought up a lot of good points about Dr. Dre's stamp on the music industry but I feel that Cody knocked that down quite a bit by saying that, like, making a big stamp on the music industry doesn't mean you've had the better solo career, because he also brought up that most of Dr. Dre's well-known Burks is with someone else as well. So for that, and I mean, this is one that is really interesting. So, but for that, I'm going to say Cody gets the point.
Yep. And I am also going to give Cody the point. I think this one was a bit of an overly emotional argument for Brooklyn. Brooklyn was very like he believed in what he was defending. But the problem was Cody was just continuously reminding him of the question, and he kept hammering on the same things. Honestly, this was a bit of a wash. It was like any point Brooklyn would bring up, he'd be like, well, like Brooklyn would say, in the 90s, he had NWA. Well, that wasn't the question. It's who had the best solo career. And then he'd say, well, he's had so many great artists under his wing, Tupac and, Eminem and Kendrick Lamar. And then Cody would remind him that, that's not his solo career. And then he brought up his net worth. That's not his solo career. So basically, when you're keeping notes, it's just like mark out every argument, and eventually the match is over. And so, yeah, Cody, you get the point. Caleb, how would you have voted?
I would have also voted with Cody because this was kind of an uphill battle I had to fight the whole time trying to debate against Michael Jackson in terms of who had the better solo career. There were some points that weren't brought up that I wish were brought up by both sides that didn't, so I can't count them either way. So I have to go based on what I heard, and I'm going to go with Cody because Cody, like you said, kind of nailed him with that's not the question. That's not the question. So yeah, I kind of have to go with Cody.
All right. Well, we are going to be going to at least a third question, but Cody has completed 2/3 of what he wanted. We will see if he can seal it here or if we will continue and have to answer a fourth question, therefore avoiding the knockout and only being able to get a TKO. So, all right. The third question is, what's the best use of a licensed song ever in a feature film? So, Cody, you will get your minute first as per your request. Your time starts when you start talking.
So, best used song in a movie, I picked I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston from The Bodyguard. This movie uses this song really well. It introduces it early on in the film where Kevin Costner jokes about it. It's like, this is that stupid song that you'd slow dance to and look in each other's eyes. And it follows up with Whitney Houston knowing that she has to say goodbye to him so he can have an okay life and not be in danger anymore, and breaks out in this song that she will always love him no matter where life takes you. It's so powerful. Whitney Houston's voice sells the song over and over, and it hits you with all the feels because she has that amazing voice talent. My opponent's choice is terrible.
All right. Brooklyn, your minute starts whenever you start talking.
So while my opponent relies on a song that has one of the greatest vocals ever, but a overall theme that can be applied to essentially any romantic comedy, I am going with the chain used in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 panelists. Let me paint you an image. Star-Lord is pinned. Star-Lord is tied down. You see Ego coming in, talking about how this is what you are meant to do. This is your purpose. You are supposed to be with me to take over the world. And then you hear boom. Boom. You hear the acoustic riff, and then you hear the words, well, if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. That is the most effective use of two lines applied in film because it speaks to the relationship of Ego and Star-Lord.
You're going to leave 15 on the board?
Absolutely.
All right. 5 minutes. Remember the filibuster rule. We haven't had any problems with that because you're both loud. All right, your time starts now.
Well, that's really interesting that he picked Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, especially coming off Guardians 1, which had the best soundtrack probably in film that actually played a character. The problem that he picked is Volume 2. He didn't even pick the correct songs from Volume 2. Father and Son and Brandy are two that literally tell more about the story. I've heard literally action-packed songs kick in when the hero is about to break out and start fighting. That's interesting and all, but it's not well done at all because no one believes the camaraderie between Ego and Star-Lord because it's one movie of development, and we all know Star-Lord is going to win. Whitney Houston's character is literally, you can say whatever you want that it's a hit beat for beat, but it is literally I will always love you. And Whitney Houston shows out her emotion that she has to literally tell him that has saved her, that he has to let her go so she can live a good life and she can carry on with her own stuff and find a different bodyguard because she can't be the reason he dies. And that is so emotional when those words come in, especially when you think that she's going to go back and you hear the dun, dun, and die, and she runs off the plane and she hugs him. And that is just a magical moment in cinema.
All right, so the point that I reiterate once again is that your song, yes, it is a great song. It's one of the best covers ever. It does not apply specifically to the bodyguard. In the chain, literally the first word, if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. That speaks to how Ego is going about Star-Lord. Ego is, although he has done the shittiest things in the world, Ego is giving. He wants to give his love for Star-Lord, but Star-Lord does not believe that Ego will never actually love him, that he's just using him for his own gain. And then the next line, I can still hear them saying that you will never break the chain. Is that essentially Star-Lord is always, he said, he has been told, oh yeah, you will follow. People are thinking that he will follow his father, which he will not. He is breaking the system. He is breaking the system.
How can he follow his
chain.
father? How can he follow his father when they just got introduced a day ago and they fall in love as father and son?
Because his father, because literally in the movie, his dad asked him, "Here, come with me, so that you can do all these things." And the Star-Lord at first initially is like, "Yeah, sure, let's do that." And then he's like, "No."
Follower. The funny thing is, the song is "Break the Chain." He's never had the chain connected to Ego at the entire point of the whole movie. The chain, he literally doesn't follow the rules. So he's literally going to do what he wants because that's what the whole character of Star-Lord is. He doesn't care about people besides Gamora. That's the only part. Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You has those emotional beats that regardless that you say they're beat for beat, they literally mean something in that entire movie. That I will always love you.
That can apply in any movie.
I have to separate now because if I am the reason that you die, that I love you this much, and they've played the song in between the movie, so it's already been played by a terrible rendition, and then Whitney Houston covers it in such a beautiful way. The problem is no one believes the relationship between Ego and Star-Lord. The chain is never there. It doesn't hold anything because Yondu literally looks at him and goes, I did it with my heart, and the rock covers him. And then the song breaks in, and it's so out of place and so awkward. After he said, I wish I didn't put that cancer in your mom, and then all of a sudden, oh, you're right, I should join you again? No, he's never with him. No one buys into it. That's why the movie doesn't live up to what it could have. Bodyguard has literally transcended. Again, it's literally became a Broadway musical now. This song is so beautiful and so powerful that it means so much to Kevin Costner that she has to let Frank go so she can carry on.
So tell me tell me where and I Will Always Love You that it specifically applies lyrics to Kevin Costner's character or to Whitney Houston's character, because the point that I bring up once again is that you could have this great song be in any romantic comedy of where, oh yeah, the person is going to leave, and then they're going to come back and have that one big kiss and they're going to do what's right. It is a generic use of a song that can be used in any romantic comedy. The question is again, what is the best use of a licensed song? And that is the chain in Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2, because literally the words that are used apply to the characters. Yours applies to the overall theme of just romantic comedies in general.
No!
Absolutely.
You've never seen The Bodyguard. That's your whole problem. Bodyguard is literally a person that is literally he literally has taken a bullet for her, and she has to say goodbye to him. So carry on. I will always think of you.
And there's a million movies where the girl leaves.
Guess what? Sleepless in Seattle, it doesn't apply to it. Guess what? They get back together. Whitney Houston leaves. So he literally has to remember the memory of him because she cannot be with him because she will be the reason he dies, and he can't live with that. Ego is going to die because it's in the MCU. There's better rock albums or rock songs thrown into MCU movies the entire time to watch the hero battle against the villain. That doesn't matter. And the problem with this one is if they introduced Ego in the first movie and they carried it in the second movie, it would have more weight. But they introduced it one shot. 2 hours later, you believe that they're connected by this chain. No, it's Brandy, and that's the song that everybody hammers home on that movie, and it's not that good. That soundtrack doesn't live up, and it's father and son is way more of an emotional connection because it's about Yondu, which is the real dad of the story, not Ego.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, you must have had your blindfold on whenever you were watching like the first like half of the movie, essentially, on how they build up this relationship of Ego and Star-Lord, and how Ego wasn't meant. He wasn't revealed as the villain right out of the gate. There was meant to be this potential father-son bond.
Okie dokie. This so fun. You have your 45-second closers. Cody, you can go. No. Brooklyn, you go first.
So once again, while my opponent relies on a song that is a beautiful song, but can be applied to anything in the romantic comedy genre, my song is the most efficient in when using the lyrics, applying to the general story of the character. If you don't love me now, you will never love me again. That is the expression of Star-Lord and Ego's relationship, with how he tried to give him his love and then broke it in half, and once again, and then breaking the chain is once again going back to that story of how Ego wants his son to come this way, and that once again Star-Lord is staying true to character and breaking the chain. I'm going.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Cody, your time starts when you start talking.
The story of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is Yondu and Star-Lord. Father and Son is a way better song that shows the connection because they were introduced in both movies, and you believe the hardship from him, that he literally does love him, and it's showed throughout the film. Ego and them have never had a thing. The literally songs, If I Stay, I Would Only Be in Your Way, is literally what introducing having to leave Frank, because if she stays, he will be the reason he dies. It does not work in every romantic comedy, because if it worked in every romantic comedy, there'd be danger, there'd be heart. There's literally he worked for her, and she fell in love and had to leave because she ended up saving his life. Ego, no one believes this invisible chain that you created by everybody's viewpoint. There are better rock songs that play in. Literally, Hella Destroying the Thing is a way better song for that movie. I just don't. And Ragnarok, Guardians is bad.
Crap, I sent myself in the position where I have to choose for this one first. All right. So I think that Brooklyn set a tone when he started talking about, like, that could work for any romantic comedy. But man, Cody kind of won this argument in the closer when he started talking about how it can't work for every romantic comedy. And he finally brought up a specific lyric, and then he mentioned the danger that is necessary. And when he was saying, in Sleepless in Seattle, it wouldn't work because he wouldn't go back, that was during the normal argument. But the closer really kind of sealed it. So I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm giving it to Cody. So, all right, Caleb.
I hate that I have to go second. God. If I'm being honest, this is the only one that was actually like kind of close for me between the two, because Brooklyn painted a really good picture of how his works in the film, and Cody also painted a good picture of how his work in the film for someone who has never seen The Bodyguard. So I appreciate both of them for that. So I have to go based on the barbs thrown at each other and trying to knock down each other's. Brooklyn kind of hit on it works for every romantic comedy, but Cody also defended that well by saying that means every romantic comedy has life-threatening stakes. And Cody also really hammered on how Brooklyn, like, just in the movie, he mentioned that it's not the best one in the movie, and he also mentioned that it doesn't even really tie into the movie as well as he wants it to, because the movie's story doesn't work out as well with the story that he's painting. So I'm going to go slightly to Cody.
And your winner, by way of knockout, the new hope, Mr. Cody Newberry. All right, Malcolm, your choice did not matter, but let's hear it anyway.
You're muted or your mic's not working, buddy.
One of the two.
Yeah, I turned my bike off because yeah. But anyway, this was actually pretty close, as like Caleb said, and on paper, I mean, it's one of those ones you look as like you would think Cody would have the clear win on paper, but Brooklyn actually sold me on the chain. Working and his arguments against "I will always love you," which is a massive one to try and fight. So for that, I mean, not that it matters, but my vote would have gone a slight to Cody, Brooklyn.
Okay. So it could have, if I had gone to Malcolm first, there would have been a lot of drama and intrigue there. All right. So let's go ahead and do some post-match interviews. Cody, it happened. You got the 3-0 like you wanted, and now you're going to be facing me at the snowball. How are you feeling right now?
Relieved. Not that I did predict it. The questions really did work pretty well in my favor. And I picked really good choices that I'm passionate about. The thing is, Brooklyn had so much going into this. His own show. He worked a 10-hour day. He was super stressed out about it, especially against me because we have this rivalry. And he literally brought me to task on at least two of the questions. I don't think the second one was close in my eyes. But the other two, he brought me to task. And I respect the hell out of him. I really do. I still hate his guts. I think he's a jackass, but that's just us as people. It was very interesting of a debate. Again, I said it before. It's okay to have music knowledge, and I think music knowledge. I respect everybody that can pull it and play it and sing it. But there's the one thing is if you can debate it, and I'm an asshole when it comes to debate. I talk loud, aggressive, and mean, and it came out, and it worked in my favor again. I credit the 10-hour shift that Brooklyn had to work before this. This is what I credit. I credit that because I've had all day to study. He's had in between. So that's what I credit, but it was awesome.
So how do you feel about the you're going to be featured on the Snowball, which you'll be facing a certain interviewer who's interviewing you right now.
Yeah, this will be fun. Me and Matt can definitely have a hell of a debate. We've proven that. Especially a prep debate between me and him will be literally bloodshed, and it will be a lot of fun. I'm nervous. I've said this on camera numerous times. Matthew Rosa. Well, Caleb pisses me off. Rosa can defend that Hitler is actually a good leader and make people buy into it. So I'm terrified. I hope for the championship round that we are able to disclose answers because if we hold them back, it's going to be a bad night for me, and that's just that. So I hope the commissioner will make that a rule so he has a good show for the snowball. But if he wants a knockout, he can just let them hide, and Matt can knock me out. It's cool.
I'll just keep hitting you on. You haven't heard this song.
Again, the thing is with Brooklyn knows this. For a music debate, I have to do so much studying. I have to study. I have to listen. I have to grasp what people are. I have to look up band member names, which Matt can just pull. So, that's why prepped fights. That's why I love this dance-off more than any other one because you have to prep. And if you don't prep, you will get knocked out in this. It's not speed round. It's not quick fire. So Brooklyn has the perfect format for debate. More people should pick up on it. And I can't wait to show off Jukebox trivia at the Snowball with me and Matt because it will probably be the best match on that card by far.
I think it will. Honestly, I do agree. All right. Brooklyn. Didn't quite turn out the way you wanted it to. How are you feeling?
Pretty disappointed. Not going to lie. there were points that I wanted to there were points that I wanted to bring up in that first question that I was like, I don't know. It's I mean, like, you guys were correct. Cody was the better debater today, and emotions sort of blew up, I guess you would say, in question number 2. I don't make excuses. It's been a rough week for me outside of the stream. I was hoping to get at least 1 point and then not have it be a blowout. But
question 4, you would have won it. Question 4, hands down, no questions asked. That was your one. Yeah, I picked it in the way that I did, so I didn't have to go to question 4 because that would have been you by miles. Just to let you know.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, I'm sort of happy that I lost. I get to now implement the things that I wanted to for the championship match. Yeah. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. You guys are right. Cody was better debated today, and it's going to be a great match of Snowball. I'm at a loss for words because I'm not super happy with my performance.
All right. Well, let's get into those lovely little plugs. All right, Cody, you won. So plug first.
You can find me on Facebook at Cody Newberry. You can find me Wednesdays with Take Three's Watch Along with me and Robert Parker. We are watching How the Grinch Stole Christmas 2000 edition with Jim Carrey this week. You can find me on The Best Show on Take Three, Late Night with Take Three on Thursdays. Hosted by a new host when we find one because my petition went through. You can find me Friday over at Full Metal with Full Metal Geek. I help run that. I don't write questions, so you can't bitch at me. You can find me on Sundays as Rankum, as the grumpy old man in the corner that hates everybody and only loves himself, except Brooklyn. Last episode, that was him. And you can find me Monday, or not Monday anymore because this happened and I won. But you can find me at the Snowball. Take it on Matthew Rosa for the crown, which should be a bloodbath, and I cannot wait. Yeah.
All right. To our unfortunate but successful semi-finalist in the chase for the crown, race to the crown, whatever it's called, Brooklyn.
Journey to the crown.
Journey
yes.
to the crown.
Successful in quotation marks. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the real. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the real BK10. The number, not the word. You can also find me right here. I think the Productions running not 1 but 2 shows. Late Night with Take 3 on Thursdays, a various topical pop culture podcast. Be sure to check out the episode. Cool. So somebody's going to be running that show that I used to run. Cody won something, so maybe there's some sort of theme. I honestly don't know. There might be a guest on there too. And then Mondays, this is my show, but I lost in my fear came to life. I lost in the league that I created. So congratulations, Cody. You made my nightmares come true. You can find me right here on Trivia on Mondays. I do trivia countdowns and debates. Be sure to check out the road to the crown, all the matches that we've had, and then trivia. It's been kind of a little bit of a miss, but yeah.
All right, to my lovely co-host, judges, panelists, whatever you want to call yourselves. Caleb, go ahead and give your plug.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Caleb Coho. That is KALEBKOHO. You can find me on YouTube at both Caleb Coho, where I do music co-productions, where I do film on both channels. Right now, my movie Chick Part 2 is up for you to watch for free. What is not free is my album Super Teens with my group The Forks, which you can find on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you consume your digital music. Just search The Forks, you'll find us there. And you can find me over on Multiplex Entertainment, where I host Fandom Fight every Friday. I upload Movie Warzone on Mondays. Me and Chick Marconi have our new show, The Co-Oscars. That'll be coming out on Thursdays, where we talk about Oscars of past, present, and future. And the Fandom Fight Championships are this Friday, as well as the poll for fandom next season questions closing. That's on the Facebook group. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Time.
Shut up, Brooklyn and Cody.
All right,
you guys made me nervous.
73.5 minutes. That's a new record.
I'm still shorter than
Malcolm.
Still shorter
Go
than
ahead and plug.
You can find me on Take 3 Productions. I host my own show, Rank Him. Next week we're doing Christmas songs, and both Cody and Brooklyn are both on there. You could also find me competing on Full Metal and Multiplex, doing various matches over there. You also find me on Twitter, Letterboxd, and Stardust at Malcor.
All right, and that leaves me. I am, of course, the Black Lantern, Brooklyn Vail. You can find me on Twitter at the real BK10. That's the letter, not the number. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so yeah, I am the minor threat, Matthew Rosa. You can find my band On the Tip of Your Tongue in Nashville. If you live in the greater Nashville area, on December the 15th, we'll be playing at Rocketown's Battle of the Bands for its local hometown bands. Support your local music. You can find our song Better Half on Spotify, which has like 9,000 plays or something around there, which is still crazy to me. You can find our EP Songs About Debbie very soon. It'll be coming out. That'll be the first EP with the full band playing on it instead of me trying poorly to play the drums. You can find me on Twitter at OTOIT Music. You can find the band at On the Tip of Your Tongue on all your favorite social media platforms. Try Instagram, try YouTube, try anything you want, honestly. Reverb Nation, bands in town, we're there. You can find me here as your head question writer on Jukebox Trivia. You can find me at the Snowball, competing against Cody Newberry. I blame you guys for giving me more and more plugs because you keep adding me to things. That's on you guys. You can find my podcast with Luca, which is supposed to happen eventually. We just have to find times that work out together. Yeah, that's basically it. All right, you guys suck.
Time.
Drive safely.
Thank you.
Drive on safe.